Hello everyone, thank you for having me among those great scholars. Today I'm here before you think that you're going to learn something from me. I'm going to learn from you, so just you're going to hear something from me, not learn. My presentation will be about, I think Dr. Sami has already done part of this presentation, which is the gap between two parties of theorists and practitioners, which are Qur'an translators and Qur'an translation researchers. I have started my timer now. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, 15 minutes. So, what made me interested in this topic? Actually, two things. The first thing is that I've read many PhD theses, many MA theses, many journal articles. All of them assess Quran translation. Similarly, there are many Quran translations produced. If we take from only, for example, Sunni background, we have about 50 to 60 Quran translations. Yet, there is no any indication or mutual communication between those two parties. The objective of this work in progress research is to build a link, establish a link between those two parties, Quran translation researchers and Quran translators, in order to reduce challenges they may encounter and explore implications about this uniting, which I prefer to call it. This is work in progress research addresses and tries to answer four principal questions. The first one is, do Quran translators and Quran translation researchers communicate? To what extent do they communicate? And what are the impacts of communication or lack of communication between those two parties? And the last question is, how can this engagement or communication be enhanced or evolved? And actually, there are some secondary questions, like, for example, how do Quran translators benefit, read these articles, these works? Do they find them useful? Or no, there's something missing in these works? So, as I told you before at the beginning, I suppose that both parties are working separately. This research applies quantitative, qualitative, or what's called mixed method. 390 Quran translators have been tried to be communicated, as well as 42 Quran translation researchers. The criteria for selecting those research or works for Quran translators, I chose from 1998 because this is likely at the end of the period of the 20th century where it's believed that there should be some Quran translators who are available to answer some of the questionnaire. For Sunni background, because about 39% of Quran translations available are conducted by Sunni scholars from different schools of thought, but within Sunni group. On the other hand, for Quran translation researchers, I have focused on PhD theses, and particularly in the UK, for a reason that there is what is called Ethos, and it's online platform where you can easily access these research and study them. Unlike other countries, which I believe they have produced many Quran translation theses, but actually it is probably cannot be accessed for one reason or another. And for journal articles, I focus on perspective. As far as we know, there are two types of researchers on Quran translation, particularly assessing. Some of them are descriptive, which try to describe what methods have been applied, the mistakes, spotting, etc., etc. However, the perspective research, which I believe they are important, is that those who propose, who suggest some kind of mechanism, methodology, or suggesting some improvements to current translations. 5 minutes, 10 minutes left. I'm good? Okay. So, as you see here, this is the total number of those who have been trying to be communicated. And we'll later know how many people who have responded. Something wrong, technical issue. So as you can see, 46% are willing to communicate. And when I say willing to communicate, I mean that either they have agreed to participate, or they have already participated. And also here in Quran translation researchers, 24% have already participated, and 22 have agreed but haven't responded, haven't sent their answers or responded. And on the other hand, 39.5 are not willing to participate, and there are many reasons for that. Some of them didn't respond, haven't responded yet. Some others have no contact details, and this is a big issue regarding no contact details, because I have read many Quran translations and many PhD theses and also journal articles where there are no contact details at all. Challenges of collecting data. Actually, this took me about 2 months and a half trying to reach this great number of about 90. And the first problem I faced was finding a way to communicate, which is email actually. I couldn't find any email for most of them, and some of them, they left academia. And the most important thing is standardization, which is a big issue actually, because until now, Quran translation researchers haven't agreed on the way of writing Quran. And this actually, to be honest, have affected the way of how researchers search these PhDs, for example, because if you search with Quran, the first way of the character, it's different. You're going to miss some other research. And the second reason is that Quran is lexicalized. I mean, if you open dictionary, you will find it is already written in this way. So why would we use different ways of writing Quran? Now those, as I've already told you, this is work in progress research. So far, 22 have participated. And as you see, it looks that this is the answer of the first question. Do Quran translators and Quran translation researchers communicate? And this is preliminary result. As you can see, half of them have communicated and half of them not. To what extent, this is the answer of the second question, to what extent do two parties communicate? There are 3 levels: engagement, collaboration, and co-translation. And we're going to delve into each of them in a little bit in detail. The first one, which I call it basic level of engagement, And what you can see here are all respondents or the responses of the participants, 22 participants. So I quoted all of them. So those who believe in no engagement, they think exegesis are authentic, reliable, so that they don't need to consult a Quran translation research. They prefer to just read exegesis. Some of them are too busy, and some of them have no opportunity, and this is very important. I would like to highlight it here. However, on the other hand, some of them are willing to communicate, and they would like to communicate because they are looking for results, findings of research. They would like to stay up to date. They're looking for approaches, methods. They would like to learn. Can you imagine that Quran translators, those who are practitioners, who are doing actual translation, are willing of learning about science of translation? 5 minutes left. Right? Okay. The second level is collaboration, and by collaboration I mean, sorry, so I didn't mention what I mean by engagement. Engagement, any level of communication, excluding collaboration, which is working together. But working together, having only one main translator. What about the others? Others should do different tasks. For example, proofreading, editing, challenging, rejecting, discussing, etc. So for collaboration, there are something that there is no kind of scholars who are experts. For example, one of the translators that I have interviewed think that there are no such people who can collaborate with. For those who are willing to collaborate between Quran translation researchers and Quran translators, they think that collective work aims to serve the Quran, and they are looking for the feedback, and they would like to have help with other sciences related to Quran, like Arabic linguistics, Quranic science, science of the Quran, etc. An advanced level, which is called translation, and I'm quoting here from Abdurrahim Bidwai, one of the famous scholar in this regard. He thinks that every translator has his own mindset, approach, methodology, and tools. There's little room for collaboration. On the other hand, those who are for co-translation, they think, I would like to see scholars, translators, and people with recognized writing ability in the target language, etc., by Ayyad. What is the impact? This is the third answer, the preliminary answer of the third question, which is, what are the impacts of having such uniting, such bringing together all those parties? Varies between focus on the product, the Quran translation, understanding, enhancing the field of Quran translation, and many other impacts. Sorry for rushing because of the time. Who should initiate the communication? Two opinions. Some think it's on individually, others think it's on organizational. And we're going to start from the organizational point. This is a quote from a tweet by Walid Lehish. He's saying, we wish we could have such a vast network as the United Bible Society. So, all people have established a united society where all of them provide many tools and statistics and resources in order to bring accurate translation. And he wishes, I wonder whether Quran translators and Quran translation researchers could have such a network with such support. And here is my suggestion. 2 minutes left, yeah? So my suggestion is, I'm glad that I have Dr. Hassan, Dr. Khalid, and others who are working in laboratory and in Ayyad University that, based on the preliminary results of this research, I've read the objective of the laboratory, and I think one of the objectives that this laboratory has been established is to enhance Quran translation research. And I have heard from some of your participations that you propose to have a committee, you propose to work together. So this is our chance to start from today thinking about having a society like United Bible Society where practitioners, actual Quran translators, who are willing, I know some of them, they are willing. They say, help me please to do so. I would like to meet those theorists, because we cannot neglect those who have already spent 3, 4, 5 years to do this Quran translation. We can have their experiences. So one of them, Ahmed al-Laythi, suggests that we can have kind of conference or pre-conference day where we gather all those parties. And actually, Abdul Hamid Ilwa has suggested that we should have a platform to gather all this institution. And I think I would suggest, Dr. Khalid Safi, Dr. Hassan, I would suggest that you may start thinking of establishing the society, and I would be very willing to help with this. At the end, I would like to acknowledge all those who have participated in my research. Professor James Dickens, my principal supervisor, Yahya Emerick, Dr. Abdul Hayy, Dr. Eddie Yüksel, Talal Aitani, Mustafa Khattab, Sheikh Bigam, Musharraf Hussain, Basit Muhammad, Khalid Sulaiman, Ahmed al-Laythi, Abdul Karim Awad, Dawood Nasimi, Muhammad al-Barakati, Ala Adil al-Qarawna, Usama al-Qahtani, Abdul Rauf Idwa'i, Muhammad al-Aqad, Dr. Adil Salahi, Dr. Abdul Hamid Ilwa, and 3 others who have preferred to be anonymized. I meant to mention everyone because they have already made a very good, a very fantastic contribution. And these are my references. And if you have any questions or you are interested in the full result of this research, please do feel free to ask me or send me an email, and I will be happy to do so. Thank you very much.